Hello everyone, so we're starting lesson 5.3. The name is pretty generic, polynomial functions. Actually, more specifically, we're going to look at something called end behavior, and it has to do with graphing. So when you're graphing polynomials, there's two broad considerations. The end behavior, which is what happens on the far left and right of the graph, and then sort of the middle behavior, what happens in the middle of the graph. I guess that's kind of redundant, but we're only focusing on end behavior today. We'll get into that middle behavior. That's not the technical term for it. There's other ways to describe it, but that'll be future content. But for now, we're going to talk about this end behavior, and it is related to graphing. Desmos can be a tool that'll help, but we're not really going to rely on Desmos for this lesson. What we are going to rely on is how to read and analyze the degree and the lead coefficient of each polynomial and understand, hopefully by the time we're done, how that affects the shape of the graph or the end behavior. So what's going to be really important is the sign of the lead coefficient, meaning whether it's positive or negative, that's sign, positive or negative, and then whether the degree, remember degree is the power or the highest power, whether that's an even or an odd number, because that greatly affects the shape. So there are basically four scenarios here. You can have a positive lead coefficient with an even power, and the result is a right side up, sort of a U shape. Or you can have a negative lead coefficient in an even power. That negative flips it upside down. So the even power makes it a U shape, the negative makes it upside down. Then you can have a positive odd, so a positive lead coefficient, an odd power, odd degree, and that creates this spaghetti shape that goes uphill from left to right. So the odd makes the shape, the positive makes it go uphill. If it's odd with a negative lead coefficient, it's still that spaghetti shape, but it goes downhill. So the fact that it is odd gives it the shape, the negative makes it go downhill instead of uphill. Now, when we look at polynomials like this, we're going to read the lead coefficient and the power. So based on what I just went over, we know that this shape is overall like this. It's an upside down U shape. The negative tells me it's upside down. The even power tells me it's that U shape. And so when you describe end behavior, that's the instructions, describe the end behavior. Basically, if you look at an upside down U shape, it goes down to the left, and it also goes down to the right. Okay, I don't know what happened to me right there, trying to write the word the starting with the letter H, but T-H-E, I don't know. Anyway, that's describing the end behavior. You read the sign and whether the power is even or odd. So positive, negative, even, odd. You determine what the overall shape is, and then you want to describe it. Unfortunately, in the world of algebra and higher level math, we don't describe things like this in words. Heaven forbid you actually use words. We use math symbols. So here's a little reference for you, something you're going to want to come back to. The symbols that we're going to use. So up looks like this. F of x arrow infinity, or f of x goes to infinity. If you recall, f of x is just a replacement for y, and you know that on a graph the y variable is up or down. So that's why down also has f of x. Think of f of x meaning y, so y can be up or down. Down would be arrow negative infinity. So f of x goes to infinity means up, f of x goes to negative infinity means down. For right or left, right is x goes to infinity, left is x goes to negative infinity. So I'm going to teach you how to incorporate this set of symbols into your answers. And hopefully I'm not going to mess it up. I'll do one and I'll check the answers just to make sure, because it's an easy thing to kind of slip up on. So, all right, let me get back to this. So number 2, as always, I'll do the evens. I'll ask you to do the odds. When we get down here, there's going to be some sketching. I'll be honest with you. Problems 1 through 16 are all very, very similar. So after I do a couple, you can probably fast forward to this next section if you want to save some time on the lesson. So anyway, so the lead coefficient is negative, the power is even. That tells me that this graph is going to go like this. So it goes down to the left, down to the right. So here's how we say down to the left. F of x goes to negative infinity, that's down, as x goes to negative infinity, that's left. So what I just wrote is down to the left, or I use the word as, not to the, but there it is. Down, f of x goes to negative infinity, to the left, as x goes to negative infinity. Now let's talk about, so that would be this arrow, down to the left. Let's talk about that arrow, down to the right. F of x goes to negative infinity, again, down, as x goes to positive infinity, to the right. So this says down to the left, down to the right. Let's check number 2 and make sure I didn't mess it up. If I messed it up, I'm going to stop the video and start all over. Okay, down to the left, down to the right. Now, I will make my answers look more like these answers. So let me go back up and rewrite this. So I sort of wrote my answer vertically here and vertically here. I'm going to go ahead and just redo that so that there's some consistency here. I don't want you to be too confused at all. I'll be very consistent. So this function goes down to the left, and this function goes down to the right. Down to the left, down to the right. So, very simple concept. Which way does the graph point? Up or down, left or right, you know, but using this complicated notation. Before I go any further, I'm going to pull up Desmos just to reiterate what's going on here. I really don't want you to use Desmos, but it can be instructive as you're just learning this. So if I were to graph this, I'll do y equals instead of f of x equals, it saves time. Y equals x squared minus 8x minus 10. And there you see this graph goes down to the left and down to the right. So that's all we're really doing, all we're really saying in this set of exercises. So number 4, we have, oops, I like this highlighter, so I'm going to keep using it, a positive lead coefficient and an even power. Positive and even gives us this kind of shape. So it's going to go up to the left and up to the right. So how do I write that down? Up is f of x goes to infinity. To the right, or I'm sorry, to the left, we'll do the left first. To the left, as x goes to negative infinity. Up to the right, f of x equals infinity, that's up, as x goes to infinity, that's right. So this says up, left, that represents that arrow, up, right, that represents that arrow. To give you another perspective, if it helps, if we look at just the regular x-y axis, so left is negative infinity, right is positive infinity, up is positive infinity, down is negative infinity. This is x, the x-axis, this is the y-axis, but instead of y, we'll call it the f of x axis. So again, maybe you can see how x negative infinity means left, x positive infinity means right, f of x positive infinity is up, f of x negative infinity is down. So that's where we're getting all this from. All right, let's look at number 6. So again, lead coefficient, positive, degree, odd. Now, positive and odd, in case you forgot, is this scenario right here. So we are looking at a graph that does this. Can you say in words what the end behavior is? Where do the arrows point? The left arrow seems to point down, the right arrow points up. So we have to say down to the left, f of x goes to negative infinity, that's down, as x goes to negative infinity, that's left, down to the left. Then we write f of x goes to positive infinity, as x goes to positive infinity, and this says up to the right, up to the right. Sorry, my dog decided to sit right next to me as I'm teaching this. Hopefully it's not too much of a distraction as we go. All right, number 8. Well, heck, number 8 is the same as number 6. All right, that wasn't very creative of me. Positive and odd. Maybe I should have made this one negative and odd. Oh well, let me see. Yeah, your homework is at least different, but okay. Again, this one goes like this particular shape, down to the left, up to the right. So f of x goes down, negative infinity, as x goes to the left, negative infinity. And we always do left first, right second, just to be consistent. Champion, calm down. F of x goes to, now we're doing the right-hand arrow, so this one is clearly pointing upward. Up is positive infinity, as x goes to the right, which is also positive infinity. So if you got the hang of it, again, you can sort of skip forward. I'm going to do just a few more examples. See, I got some with fourth powers and some with fifth powers. So let's do this. This one is positive and even. That means it's going to be a U shape. Now, to be precise, it doesn't have to be a U shape. It could be kind of more like a W shape when you get a fourth power. But that W part, that's what I call the middle behavior. We're not concerned with that. Today we're just learning about what's called end behavior, so which way do the arrows point. So when I say it's a U shape, that's not technically necessarily correct every time. It just helps us figure out the end behavior, and that's the main point anyway. So again, we'll do the left first. So the left arrow points up. So f of x goes to infinity, that's up. As x goes to negative infinity, that's left. I just wrote up to the left. And then to the right, it also goes up. So f of x goes up as x goes to infinity, or the right. Up to the left, up to the right. And I have not been checking these like I normally do. And am I going to remember all of these? Good grief. Up to the left, up to the right. Number 4. Does that say up to the left, up to the right? Yes, it does. Number 6 and 8 should both be the same. Let's see. Down to the left, up to the right. Down to the left, up to the right. Good. And the one that I just did just now, up to the left, up to the right. Check number 10. Up to the left, up to the right. So we're doing fine. All right, number 12, we have a negative lead coefficient and even power. That means it's going to be this shape, or like I said, it could be technically that shape, but that doesn't matter. The point is, the left arrow points down, the right arrow points down. So f of x goes to negative infinity, that's down. As x goes to negative infinity, that's left. Down to the left. It's almost like just learning a few sentences in a different language, in a way. And then for the right, f of x goes to, again, negative infinity. The right-hand arrow goes down as x goes to the right, so positive infinity. So that should be number 12. Down to the left, down to the right. Number 14, lead coefficient is positive, power is odd. Again, that's this shape. And if you don't know that off the top of your head, well, consider this up here, another reference, something you can go back and look at. So we have positive, odd, that's a sort of an upward climbing spaghetti shape. Spaghetti shape, yep. Technical terms here. Don't want to impress you with my huge brain. Okay, anyway. So where do these arrows go? The left arrow goes down, the right arrow goes up. So left arrow goes down. F of x goes down, negative infinity, as x goes left, negative infinity. And then f of x goes, the arrow means goes, up, positive infinity, as x goes to the right, positive infinity. So down, left, up, right for number 14. Down, left, up, right. That is it. Number 16. Negative lead coefficient, odd power. You can go scroll back up and check the reference or not. I know that this is that spaghetti shape, but it goes downhill instead of uphill. So it's that overall shape. The left arrow points up, so f of x goes to positive infinity. As x goes to negative infinity, that's left. And then f of x points down, negative infinity. as we look at the right hand arrow, so x goes to the right, positive infinity. That looks like 2 zeros. So what do we have? We have up, left, down, right. Number 16, up, left, down, right. That's it. For the rest, you're going to be sketching graphs. And I'm not going to ask you to draw the XY axes like are in the answer key. I just want you to write the overall shape. So you can scroll up and check these notes as you want to, or maybe you'll kind of have this memorized. So number 18 is negative odd. That tells me it's going to be a downward facing spaghetti shape. So that. Now, technically, it could look something more like this with a little sort of a wave in the middle. Remember, the middle behavior isn't that important. On this answer key, they drew everything exactly correctly with the right x-intercept and y-intercept and all that stuff, and I don't really care about that. If you could just get the overall shape on these, you're good. So for number 20, positive even power is going to be like this. So when I check number 20, I should have, yeah, that. And that's good. That's all I'm looking for here. Be very generous when you grade yourself. Number 22, negative U shape. That's going to be like that. So 22, and upside down. You know that's called a parabola, I hope, right? So upside down parabola. Number 24, negative odd. It's going to be a downward spaghetti shape. Or it might be something with more of a wave in the middle. Either one of those I would call good enough. And here it is right here. And just for kicks, I mean, look at number 21. I mean, that's crazy. But when you do number 21, you're going to see negative and odd. You don't necessarily have to have that exact shape. Okay, I don't know why I just got distracted and talked about that. 26 is quite simple. Even. Positive and even. Again, that's going to be another right side up parabola or U shape. So when we check number 26, there it is. Okay, so hopefully this is an easy concept and you don't have trouble with it. If you do have trouble, I anticipate it's going to be, like I said, learning these symbols. It's like learning a foreign language, but at least it's just a few words or sentences in a foreign language. Up, down, left, right, and you can put it all together. All right, I'm going to stop there. Contact me if you have any questions. Good luck with this assignment. I'll talk to you later.